This is Vic Porcelli, host of the Two Guys Talking Poker podcast, and you're listening to the Two Guys Talking Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Green Gab Podcast, a place to gab with people rocking it in green. Green homes, green living, green companies. Join Marla Esser-Close, the green home coach and author of Living Green Effortlessly, Simple Choices to a Better Home, and Tony Pratt, the Director of Builder Relations at The Sound Room. Here are your hosts, Marla and Tony.
Gabbing on the Green Gab podcast. Marla and Tony are still at the home show at the St. Louis.
Still here.
The St.
We've been
Louis
here.
Home and Garden Show.
We've been here for a while.
I know, it's only
It's a lot of talking.
Yeah, but this has been really, I'm just so excited that we took up the opportunity to be here.
How many people do you think you have put a microphone in front of today?
Probably about 20 or...
Think about that.
Probably 20 or 25.
20, 25 people have spoken to and talked to us on the Green Gab today.
I know.
That's pretty
and
crazy.
A lot of them had no idea what podcasting is. So what's really cool about us being down here is that not only are we getting to share content about homes and green living and resources, but we're also getting to share the whole idea of podcasting and the knowledge base that it can provide.
Introducing them to a whole new media of getting their word out.
Yeah. So we've actually had a couple of folks as we've been walking around, they're like, hey, tell me more about this podcasting stuff.
We're like trendsetters down here.
No, we're not like trendsetters.
We are trendsetters.
Hey, you can teach an old dog a new trick.
You can. You can. That is true.
And we have a very dear friend to both of us here with us right now.
For a second, I thought you were going to say, and speaking of old dogs.
Marla, I think my booth is calling me. I have to step away for 30 minutes. I'll be back when Tony's gone.
You gotta put up with him. What can I say?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're in the seat between me and Tony.
So introduce yourself, Kim. Tell us who you are and what
My
you do.
name is Kim Hibbs, and I'm Tony's best friend. Okay, what part of that is a lie? My name is not, so that must be the Tony's best friend part is a lie.
Well, I don't know. I've seen how you write out your name, so I thought it was Jim.
My actual title, beside Tony's best friend, is I own a company called Hibbs Homes, and we are a custom home builder here in the St. Louis area. And it's been a pleasure knowing you guys for years. I love this. I'm so happy for your success. It's great.
Thank you.
It's great.
It's funny because Kim and I have known each other for, well over a decade, and in different capacities, different companies that I've been in, working with some of his clients over the years, and just having a lot of fun teasing each other and giving each other trouble because it's just fun. We have an interesting friendship, interesting dynamic.
We're going on a decade now from when I first joined the Green Building Council.
The Green Building Council, can you believe that?
Yeah, because when I first joined, I was still at Butterfly Energy Works before I went out on my own.
I know. That seems like such a long time ago, but it's gone.
It was another life ago.
It's amazing
and
how that
works. And we're still
works.
building green homes, and you're doing great things with your podcast and your book.
Yeah.
I love the book. I saw it. It was launched at the National Association of Home Builders International Builder Show.
You're a good plug person. Thank you.
That's all right.
You can get a
It's a
copy
good book.
here.
I think he's had some experience in this. Got $18?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, see, I'm trying to suck up because I thought I might get a free copy that was autographed.
Well, my one free copy already walked off the table.
Tony.
Oh, okay. I see how it is.
It's Tony.
I got to get the copy. All right. Well, you can have mine. She didn't sign it.
I'm holding out for
I
a
don't know how I
signed
missed
copy.
that. I guess you didn't ask. Oh, well. So you're not only a custom home builder, you build some pretty special stuff into your homes.
I really prefer to call them high performance, which is kind of a term that's becoming more popular over the years. But if you really know what we do is we build high performing green homes.
And there's so many words for it.
Yeah.
Green, high performance,
Yeah.
energy efficient, better.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole point is that you want the people that buy your homes and build with you to be happy.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and obviously happy from a customer service standpoint, but I think that comes along with building them a better home from a performance standpoint, and that's really what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's why we do I would say 90% of the homes we build are verified to some level, whether it is Energy Star, we built to LEED levels, we built to ResNet levels, we built to, National Green Building Standards. So our homes, for the most part, are all rated. Sometimes we have a client, for some reason or another, say they don't necessarily want that verification, but we still go through the same practices to build them the home the way we do, which delivers a home that's more efficient, better durability, better indoor air quality, more comfortable, lower maintenance. You guys know the drill.
Well, the promise of a home.
Yeah, exactly. That's what people want.
Well,
this is where they're going to be living.
You were talking about the myth. One of the most common myths with green or high performance building is that it's too expensive. And what we've really learned is that it's not.
No, it's not.
But more importantly, the things that people really want out of their homes really need a little extra love. And that's what people get, is that extra attention to detail, the extra care that's put into the choices that come into a home. And it's happening with custom builders, it's happening with
more and more production builders,
it's happening with remodelers, and it's a mindset. It
really is, and the way I try to talk to my clients and have them understand the importance of what we do is, especially that thermal envelope and the shell of the house, if you will, I try to get them to understand that these are the most important decisions you can make.
Absolutely.
Because this is the only chance you get to do it right.
Sticks with you.
Once the drywall's on, you're not redoing
Exactly.
it.
You can change flooring, you can change cabinetry and countertops and plumbing fixtures and lights, but you can't change how you build that wall and how you insulate it.
But it's going to be very expensive and challenging.
Yeah.
Well, the expense usually precludes it from happening.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Well, and that's why we see so many people really finally starting to talk. If you're going to remodel a home, if you're going to replace things in your home, get a little more knowledge and make a decision that up levels you just a little bit or a lot bit. Be aware there's some really, really great choices out there. And if you can't do a whole big remodel or you can't do a whole new house right now, at least as you're making those smaller choices in your home, you can up level it.
There are so many things that the average homeowner can do to improve the efficiency of their home, which will also then affect the indoor air quality and the comfort level of their homes. And there's a lot of great resources out there. I mean, Marla, you're like a resource in your own. You and Tony with your podcast, just you with how you're spreading the word and the services you provide. So if anybody is looking to, even if it is a remodel project, take into account what you can do from the standpoint of making your home perform better. And it doesn't have to cost more. That's one of the things I try to help educate my clients and have them really show them the math and have them understand that, okay, let's take a look at how maybe it does cost a little bit more while you're building the home, because we're going to use 2x6 walls, or we're going to use exterior insulation, or a caulk and seal package with better insulation on the inside, or we're going to use better windows and more efficient furnace systems and all, or geothermal. Okay, so maybe all that costs just a little bit more, but in the long run, when your monthly mortgage bills are a lot less,
right,
and you're paying just a little bit more on your mortgage, you're coming out ahead each month because you have a positive cash flow because of that.
Well, my house, because we looked at an existing home that was 11 years old, and it was a neighborhood we really, really liked. And it was a layout that we really, really liked. Our other choice was a spec home that's a HERS rated home, which is one of the energy efficient rating systems out there. And it was more expensive. It was about 10% more. But by the time I ran the numbers and I included utility costs, insurance costs.
My
insurance was a lot lower. And my homeowner association dues and my mortgage insurance, the typical payment, mortgage insurance, taxes. But it came out a little bit less to buy the more expensive homes simply because my monthly stuff wasn't going to be as big, and it was less hassle. And that was a really big consideration for us right now. We didn't want to be in a house where we were getting a lot of surprises, which was kind of what was happening with the existing home.
And that's exactly how I walk our clients through the process when they come into the office. Don't just look at the construction cost. Don't just look at your mortgage. You have to take into account the entire picture.
Yeah, it's all the operating costs, too.
Yeah, the operating costs. And those operating costs are going to only increase over the years with rising electric prices and gas prices and everything else. So build the house or renovate the house properly right now, and then it kind of shields you a little bit from those rising costs.
Yeah, most people, they just look at that one number. They see the actual cost of the number, and that's it.
It is because I know, especially with new homes, a lot of people always come in and say, what's your cost per square foot?
Right.
And they're comparing you to production builders. And you can't do that, so you really have to try to educate.
But even with a production builder, it's not really an adequate measure of what you're getting.
Right.
And we're working to, and I know a lot of people in the industry are working to change the mindset about how you think about a home. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people have started being able to wrap their arms around that idea with a car. This is not just the upfront price, it's how much your gas is going to cost, your maintenance, your tires, everything that you need, and how often is it going to break down, etc.
Yeah.
But we haven't quite gotten there yet on a home. We're making progress, I think.
Well, it's interesting because you mentioned the HERS rating. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we do on all of our homes is make sure we do the testing and have that HERS rating, because I think someday it's going to be your mile per gallon sticker.
Oh, absolutely,
for your house. It's going to be right there on your electric panel, and it's going to tell the homeowner how well this home was built and how it compares to other homes. And if you're comparing a home with a HERS rating to a home that does not have that rating, there is no comparison.
Well, that's how Europe does it.
Yeah.
And how many financing arms, different financing sources are starting to ask,
what's your HERS rating?
What's your HERS rating?
Yeah.
So, hey, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back to chat a little bit more.
There are many logos that you can look at around you on your mobile device, your drive home, inside the boob tube, and thousands of other places. Only one conjures the answer, however, to the question, who you gonna call? In 1984, Ivan Reitman directed a special little feature film exploring the paranormal, the normal, and the comedic inside the city of New York. It was called Ghostbusters. It was deliberate. It was fun. It continues to receive stellar reviews even now 30 years later, and is the seed for many new efforts that feature the moniker Ghostbusters. How did the original win hearts? What do you think of the original 1984 romp that talks about a gatekeeper, a keymaster, a destructor, and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? Check out the perspective review of Ghostbusters, 1984, directed by Ivan Reitman. PerspectiveReviews.com. That's PerspectiveReviews.com.
Thought about a career in voiceover? Need a great, cost-effective on-hold message for your organization or business? Don't know where to start? Check out The Voice Farm, your one-stop shop for voiceover needs. Check it out now by accessing The Voice Farm at voicefarmers.com and see what difference can be made with a company that is truly outside the box. From the Voice Box, voicefarmers.com. That's voicefarmers.com.
It's plain old common sense. You want your home to look great, feel great, and perform great. Is it even possible to do all three without breaking the bank? Yes. In Living Green Effortlessly, Simple Choices for a Better Home, Marla Esser-Close shows you how to make your home green. From integrating smart technology into your home to planting a rain garden, there are all kinds of ways to live greener. Get the book now at livinggreenbook.com. That's livinggreenbook.com.
Well, gabbing with two of my favorite guys here.
Or at least one of them, right?
Tony.
One favorite and one she puts up with.
Oh my gosh. So
Marla, don't get me started on Tony.
Okay, we're going to try to keep
I threw you a softball.
Yeah, this is so going down a rabbit hole. So we're on Facebook Live. So
First time ever for me.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You've never done Facebook Live?
Nervous
Oh my
either.
gosh. Yeah, I'm actually finding a lot of it's pretty cool. So check it out. Do some more. You can tag us. We're on the Green Gab Facebook page.
Okay.
So you can find it there.
Yeah.
And like it if you haven't yet.
Oh, I'll like it.
But
Yes, you will. Otherwise, Marla will hunt you
my
down.
gosh. You not only are a spectacular builder, you also are very involved in the Home Builders Association
Yes.
and our Green Building Council, which is now called the Advanced Building Science and Technology
Committee.
And I just call it ABSTAC for short.
Yes, we all call it ABSTAC.
I know, all I can think of is AFLAC. But you recently served as president of the Home Builders Association in St. Louis.
Yes, my one-year term. I mean,
did it feel like prison?
You know, it was 1 year. There was a lot of work, but a year that I will truly cherish because it was, in a way, for someone who's only been a builder for 12 years now, there were many people who were president of the HBA who had, you know, decades of experience before they on the leadership ladder and served as president. Well, I was put on the leadership ladder after 5 or 6 years. So I feel like I was doing something right, and I really enjoyed my term. Last year was terrific. Had a great time, and just really like giving back to the industry.
You and I were both put on the board in 2007 for our first year.
Correct.
So of those 12 years, you spent 10 years on the board of directors for the HBA.
Wow.
That's true.
Think about that. That's a ratio for you.
And I know, Marla, you're also very active at the national level with the National Association of Home Builders, as am I. And I think that's another area where you can not only grow and learn, but it's just fun, again, to kind of give back and help the industry grow.
I've learned, just kind of from the inside out, all about what the Home Builders Associations are all about and how they differ around the country. And I've been real active with Professional Women in Building Group. But it's just love seeing what everybody's doing and understanding the different regions and how they interact with their communities and how they're involved with their communities. And for a lot of our listeners, you hear HBA and you think this is a bunch of builders, but this is a big industry and it's really, really involved. So this whole idea of green and sustainability, this is not just about environmental friendliness or health and safety and comfort for your homes. Folks, this is about sustainability, which means carrying it on into the future so our kids and our grandkids still have this industry and still have really great things in their homes for them.
I'm a custom builder, but more and more production builders. Those are the builders who, you know, build these big developments and all. More and more, you know, production builders are understanding that, and they're building to some of the same standards that some of the small custom builders
And it's so wonderful
That's
to
what
see.
people are getting.
I know.
Yeah. This is really a business model.
It is a business
It is a business model of how to build houses for the future. And, you know, the early adapters are always going to be the ones that are going to be very successful for it because they're going to work all the bugs out. And then after a few years, they're just going to roll right through it.
Yep. Hey, let us sign off Facebook Live, and folks can find more about it. It's on the Green Gab podcast Facebook page. And if you are listening to this podcast, check out the Facebook page. You can see the video of what we're doing today. So there, you know, tie it together there. But we're going to keep podcasting while we wrap up with Facebook Live. So, but you have such a unique pathway into the building industry. And first tell us what you were doing, and then tell me what motivated you to get into building.
It's interesting because I actually started my career in television and radio back in 1984.
Wow.
So I had been in, you know, the TV radio industry for 20 years, I guess it was, before I started building homes. And I've been on radio, I've been on television, I was an anchor reporter here at the NBC affiliate in St. Louis, KSDK, for many years. So it's one of those things where my wife and I had our second child, and we wanted her to do something but not go back to work full time.
Right.
And so she ended up getting her real estate license. We thought, okay, she can sell real estate on the side. And then we started getting interested in buying and fixing up and flipping homes. So we started doing that back in 2000, 2001. Okay. And here's the problem we had with that. We're like, you know, you watch HGTV and everybody's making all this money, and well, it doesn't usually work out like that.
That's because the 1%, right?
Right, exactly. We would always want to put too expensive tile. We'd want to put the top of the line this and that and something else. So we decided we would be better suited to build new homes. So back in 2004, we actually started building some spec homes. That's how I started getting interested in new construction. That's when I joined the HBA, got actively involved, really started to dive in and learn the industry. So I was still at Channel 5 locally at the time. I was on the morning shift, so I would either report or anchor the morning show and the noon show, and then I would go into the field and start working.
Wow,
so I
didn't know that.
And then I would work all afternoon. So it was a great opportunity to do both. And then my contract was up in 2005. The business was going well, and I had a chance to get into home building full time.
So you hadn't been building full time that long when I met you. I didn't realize that.
No.
I did not know that.
No.
So what piqued your interest in green building, high performance building, and doing that the way you do?
I have kind of a motto, and that's the motto we use around our office, is do the right thing. As a matter of fact, we have a picture that we made ourselves. It's up on the wall. It has all these spokes with the way you're supposed to do business, but right in the middle there's a bullseye and it says do the right thing. And it's just the right way to build a home, mostly for our clients, mostly for the homeowner. But quite frankly, I do feel better about the homes we build and the quality of the homes we build.
Yeah, and I think that's a very important point. If you're providing a product or a service for a client and you feel good about what you're doing for that homeowner and the homeowner's ecstatic, that's like the bonus. When you can go home at night and just feel proud about the work you've accomplished or the work you've done.
You're absolutely right, and we're doing the right thing for the homeowner. We're doing the right thing for our business model. Mm-hmm. We're doing the right thing for the environment. I mean, we're doing
for the world.
For the world. We're doing it for many different reasons. Yeah. So it's funny because I hadn't been building new homes that long, and I heard about the Green Building Council at the HBA, and something just clicked. And I wanted to get involved, and the more I learned about it, the more excited I was about that way of building. And so I just jumped onto the council and started learning more about it. Mm-hmm. Matt Belcher was the chair at the time.
We both have learned a lot from Matt Belcher.
Yes.
Everybody has learned a lot from Matt Belcher.
Early books on green building, and then Marla comes along and writes the next one, so I like that.
Oh my gosh, I've had such amazing teachers and mentors as I dived into this, because I don't have a building experience. I learned it from books and certifications and a passion, and it's taken me a few years to figure out how to convert that to something that makes sense.
Making sense is something that we often talk about when we have our meetings, because so many people try to market green or high performance the wrong way. They use these technical terms and this technical language. Instead, they just need to dumb it down. Why is it better? Well, it's better because it's going to save you money. It means you're going to live in a house with better indoor air quality. Mm-hmm. There's many reasons.
It's an emotional decision.
It's an emotional
you make it
decision.
With your heart.
But too many times they're going to say, well, it's got a HERS rating of a 57. And here's what our air exchange is per hour. And people are like, what does that mean?
That's what happened when we were looking at houses in Oklahoma City. Mm-hmm. So they have a program there. A lot of the builders build with HERS rating, a home energy rating. Kind of like the base of getting an energy efficiency. You know about it. I don't know that our listeners do. But they had a state incentive. So a lot of the builders had jumped onto the program. So we're walking into these show homes, and the salespeople are showing me, wow, this house has a HERS rating and blah, 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 blah. And so me being the smart aleck that exactly, that's exactly what I did. And my mom is with me at this one house. She goes, well, Marla's the Green Home coach, and she can help you with that. I just about lost it. It was crazy how many people were just putting it out there that, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, we got a HERS rating and blah, 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 and that's a great thing for you.
And real quick for your listeners, a HERS score, if you're building a typical co-built home, the score would be 100. So if you're living in an existing home today, your HERS, Home Energy Rating System score, would be about a 135, 140. So we're building net zero homes, which means that we're producing as much energy as we are consuming. Most of the homes we build are somewhere in the 20 to 40 range, which means they're
very nice
80 to 60% more efficient than a code-built home. And really, if you're building at that level, all you have to do is throw on solar panels, and you basically have a net zero home.
And solar panels have now gotten so reasonable that
they have, and there's more and more state incentives. There's still the federal incentive out there for them.
Well, Department of Energy, their Sunshot program, I believe it is, that's their push to get solar down to $1 a watt installed. That includes the installation. That's the goal that Department of Energy put in place like 10 years ago.
And I know it's still prohibitive in some parts of the country. Even here in Missouri, it's tough because we don't have any state incentives. We don't have a lot of local incentives anymore.
Well, you know what
makes it difficult.
I'll tell you what'll do it in Missouri and the Midwest where energy is still cheap. It's the battery. Once they can figure out the battery storage in the house at an affordable rate, because right now we keep throwing excess energy onto the grid, and since we're not a one-to-one state, we're more like a...
Explain what that means, though.
All right, so...
It's kind of a new concept for folks, and then we're going to take a break after you explain this.
Okay, so basically when you have solar on your house and you're producing, you have that buyback agreement from the utility. In some states, for every dollar of energy you produce and put back onto the grid that you're not using, they will credit you $1 when you take it back at night, because obviously you're not producing at night. Missouri is one of those states that does not have it. So while you're producing the excess and throwing it onto the grid, they're crediting it to you at their cost. wholesale cost might be 2 cents a watt or 1 cent a watt. When you are using it back at night, well, you're paying the retail price for it, the 8 cents a kilowatt or a watt, the 10 cents a watt, whatever. So it's not fair. Once
there you go.
It's not. To defeat that, in a state like Missouri, once we had the battery storage on site for hopefully 5 to 7 days, I think that's really where it's going to make everything make sense. So all of that excess energy, which I would be putting onto the grid, I'm now storing in my own house. So at night when I've stopped, I'm using my own energy. I'm not relying on the electrical company anymore, and I'm no longer losing that money.
There you go. And I know there's a couple of companies out there that are really working.
Oh, they're working hard on the battery. The battery's the next challenge.
Yeah, we'll have to get some of those folks on one day.
Absolutely.
That would be really fun. Well, hey, let's take a real quick break, and we'll be right back to gab some more.
Looking for a straightforward user interface and a cost-effective, feature-filled multi-track recording software? Call off the search. Mixcraft from Acoustica has exactly what you're looking for. It's time to include reliable audio creation and editing software with real punch into your projects. Check out Mixcraft now over at acoustica.com/Mixcraft and start a new generation of audio creation and editing today.
Wouldn't it be cool if your advertising could last forever? It can, with perpetual advertising. Here's how it works. Magazine, radio, and television ads are efforts that people might see or hear once, and then they're lost forever. Perpetual advertising provides you with the chance for repeat exposure and replayability weeks, months, even years after it's originally inserted inside a podcast. So even after your advertising is included in a podcast years ago, those efforts are still impactful, providing you with true return on investment. Real impact, thanks to perpetual advertising. Are you ready to change the way you and your company or organization advertises? Find out more and launch a unique perpetual advertising effort right now by visiting twoguystalking.com/sponsors.
Hey, podcast fans. Ever wanted to learn sign language? How about learning more about the deaf and hard of hearing culture? Well, the time and effort has come to allow you to do just that. Don't miss the Interpreter's Toolbox podcast from Two Guys Talking. Great sign language vocabulary lessons, contests, stories, and more are waiting for you after you watch this new video podcast. Check out interpretertoolbox.com for more details and get cash and prizes for your comments now. It's all about life. interpretertoolbox.com.
Green Gab podcast today. We're gabbing with Kim Hibbs of Hibbs Homes, and I really want to talk about your experience that you give your buyers that are building a home with you, because I think you all do some really cool things.
Well, the custom experience is different, obviously, than a production.
True.
Absolutely.
With a production experience, you're basically walking in and writing a contract and having to make a lot of decisions within a very short period of time, so they can build the house, very quickly without delays.
Yeah.
On a schedule, yeah. With a custom, it takes us longer to help educate our clients into what their options are, what we can do, what the benefits are to building the way we do. So we realistically have 2 or 3 meetings, at least, with a client before they decide that building a custom home is what they want to do. And then from there, we introduce them to architects. Of course, we use architects who understand that building a high performance or a green home, it starts with the design.
Right.
It really does.
Oh, absolutely.
It has to. Whether it's window placement, overhangs, you name it, it starts with the design. So anybody who wants to remodel or build a green home has to find an architect who understands the process. And then what's interesting is once we go through the design phase, we really sit down with them and talk through all of the options, and we include pricing so they have a good understanding of how the options impact the budget. Everything from, do we want exterior insulation? So you have that, no thermal bridging, which means you don't have weak links in your construction of the exterior walls. Or if we do an upgraded insulation package on the inside, is that going to give you the performance you want? What about windows? Windows are critical when it comes to building the types of homes we build. Double pane, triple pane, everything from the HVAC system. So we really do help educate them into all the options that are available, into how we build, the pricing that goes along with it. And I kind of look at it as a big puzzle. Once you have the budget there, you kind of move pieces around until it fits them perfectly.
Right.
Some people may want to spend a little bit more for windows, or spend a little bit more for HVAC, or spend a little bit more for insulation, which means we have trade-offs. You might have to do carpet on the second floor, or you might have to, something else.
Sure.
So we walk them through that. We walk them through the benefits of how much difference you might be paying on your monthly mortgage, but how much are you saving each month too because of your operational costs?
Or less hassle and maintenance.
Exactly.
I don't want to clean a lot, so maybe this may be something that helps you not have to clean as much. Or you don't have to replace it as long. It's going to last longer. Or we all want this carefree lifestyle. Well, if you have a home that requires painting every 2 years, not so much.
Right. And what's interesting is more and more people now, the buzzword is all about indoor air quality.
Yeah.
Right.
Because a lot of people, especially in the St. Louis area with allergies and asthma, the way we build...
And that's nationwide, I think, now.
Well, true. No, you're right about that.
It's gotten really epidemic.
But the way we build with our HVAC systems and putting returns in every bedroom, using dual-speed furnaces, so you're always circulating that air more slowly through the returns, through our upgraded filter systems, so the indoor air quality of the house is going to be better. And then because we do build a tighter house, you're not having as much pollutants from the outside come in. And then we also introduce the proper amount of fresh air, because you have to have a house that breathes properly. You want to be able to control that.
And that's important, properly.
Right.
That's what everybody, my house needs to breathe. And it's like, well, people really need to breathe, but your house needs to support that.
I mean, in the old days, they used to build a home and let it breathe itself because the construction wasn't as good as it could be. In other words, they've got gaps in their framing, which allows air to come and go. So that's how the house breathes. Right now, we will build a very tight house. We'll seal up all the cracks, the crevices, and everything else, but then we'll introduce fresh air on a timer, so the fresh air is coming in at the right time and exhausting the stale air out at the right time. It's kind of a science. Building science is what I call it.
Building science. Yeah, it is building science.
It's accurate.
A lot of us in the industry have gotten a lot of building science education and programs to go through, so we learn new products and materials and new ways of looking at things, and there's new stuff coming out all the time.
And what's even better than
you got to take it all into consideration.
Well, it's true, and you're absolutely right. There's more and more product opportunity every day.
Yeah.
And the best part about that is the prices are also coming down.
Yes.
So it's becoming much more cost effective to build the way we build.
Well, it becomes more mainstream.
Yeah.
When it becomes more mainstream, prices tend to drop because you have more producers, you have more manufacturers, everybody's found better ways of producing those products. So there's going to be some cost savings over time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you work with your clients that are coming through the process to help them establish their priorities? Like what's most important to them in their house, in their home?
It's interesting because I help them prioritize simply by asking questions up front. I ask them.
There's a concept.
I really do. Unique. I really want them to tell me what is most important. I try to ask questions about their family, their lifestyle, what they do. Do they have health issues? And quite frankly, I'm listening because I can put all that together. Some people, it truly is indoor air quality is the most important. Other people, it's I want to save as much money possible. Others is we are very busy. We don't want maintenance. We want a house that basically we can come and go for several years and not have to worry about painting on the weekend or replacing this or replacing that. So I'm finding that everybody has a different reason for wanting to build, and by listening to them, I'm kind of able to pick up on that and then take them in the direction they need to go.
You hit it so on the head, because the very first and most important skill in any kind of relationship, but especially a sales relationship, is listening. And we don't get trained in that in most courses.
I let them talk.
That's so good. It's so wonderful. I love that. So we're getting fan waves here. It's a fun thing about being live at the home show, right? What made you decide to do things that way? Is that just your personality?
It's my personality. And I think a lot of it, because of my background in communications and all, I was raised always asking a lot of questions. And it's just kind of in my nature to be inquisitive. And the one thing that I demand of my team, and I actually am a pretty fun boss, but I really, communication is really
I'll
big
ask
with
Victoria
me.
that.
Yeah. No, let's not ask Victoria. One thing that's really big with us is communication. As a matter of fact, something kind of just went off in my head recently that we're relying too much on email and too much on texting. So I've instituted a new policy where we're picking up the phone and calling people a heck of a lot more than we used to. And then you follow up with a text or an email to recap what you talked about. It's that personal touch that's missing. So I don't know. I just think that's kind of how I operate.
There's only so much you can convey in an email or a text. While you can get cold hard facts or whatever.
Exactly.
You really need to read the person to see, is it something that they're just confused about? Is it they're not understanding? Is it they're passionate about? Yes or no?
Like when I talk to Tony, he has to understand that I'm frustrated with him.
Well,
I just assume that.
So that's on the phone. He makes us be in the same room.
And that's why when I send him an email, it's all in capitals and bold and highlighted.
Well, like I said, I just assume 100% if it's coming from Kim, he's frustrated about something.
You guys are
I
so
can't
funny.
turn this TV on.
My husband is a field supervisor for a communications company that does cable and internet, and so my parents have now decided he's their personal communications specialist.
No.
Anybody that has a problem, they're calling him up. Can you fix this?
It's good to know somebody.
It is.
I have people for that anyway.
I know. Yeah, you two commiserate.
I send the other Tony out for stuff like that.
Oh, do we have time to talk about the other Tony?
Oh my gosh, the 3 Tonys of.
No, there's a fourth now.
That's right. I forgot there was a fourth one now. The 4 Tonys of the sound room.
We hired a new installer away from a competitor.
Let me guess. His name is Tony.
His name is Tony.
Yep, there you go.
I was on a run of hiring Jims though with my company. So.
Well, the funny thing was the nicknames are Good Tony, Bad Tony, Evil Tony. So I said, we now have Good Tony, Bad Tony, Evil Tony, and Mediocre Tony. And I looked at our friend Tony Julius. I go, right in front of our owner David Young, I said, oh, by the way, you just got bumped to mediocre.
It's a rough gig. What can you say?
Well, shameless plug for the sound room. They do a phenomenal job. And that new showroom in the Chesterfield Valley.
It's nice, isn't it?
I was there the other night when they had their grand opening. I was in awe.
I missed you.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And David was saying he was just floored.
400 to 500 people were
with
there.
how many people showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they ran out of food and drink. They were so popular.
That's why they ran out of drink. The people I invited showed up.
And then everybody left right after that. I don't understand.
I know. What's up with that? So you're not going to be able to work with everybody that's going to build a custom home.
Right.
Obviously, because a lot of our listeners aren't in St. Louis.
Right.
But give folks a little bit of advice. If you're thinking about building a house, a custom house in particular, what are a couple of good strategies to get started?
I'm still a very strong advocate of contacting your local HBA because they'll have a list. They'll have a list of builders who are members, and those members, I believe, take their job more seriously because they want the education that's available. Yeah. They want to be a part of an organization which cares for, the homeowner and the buyer and everything else. So the number one thing I say is start with the HBA. They'll be able to point you in the direction of 2 or 3 builders that you feel comfortable with. There's a lot of different ways to build a home. Production, we all know what that is. You go to a subdivision, you pick out your home. But for a custom builder, there's builders who work off of what's called cost plus, which is open book. They show you everything and then they mark it up a percentage. And then there's also what's called fixed cost, where they say, here's your cost, we'll build your home. There's no right or wrong way. Some people like to have more control over it. The one downside to cost plus is you have more exposure if something happens. If it's a fixed cost, the builder says, I'm going to build this house for this price, and you don't have to worry about it. Check them out. Obviously, if you're interested in high performance or green features, talk to them. Make sure that they can carry on a conversation kind of like we are and really understand how to build a high-performance home. Call some of their clients, their past clients, go look at some of their homes. If a builder's not willing to let you talk to a past client or show them through a past client's home, go the other direction.
Yeah, especially in the custom field.
Yeah.
It's almost a standard deal where if you build with a custom builder, chances are you walk through one of the houses they've already built. That's the resume.
Exactly. And then I would also recommend let them introduce you to whatever builder you select, let them introduce you to 2 or 3 architects. Put your team together because the team is going to be more effective, just that as a team, than trying to work separately of each other. So,
and the homeowner needs to be a part of that team.
Oh my gosh, the homeowner is the most important
I think
part.
so many people, if they're used to seeing the production build process, kind of just think it's a throw it over the tennis net kind of a deal. And
it's not.
And custom home building in particular,
totally different.
no way.
Yeah. Now, custom home building generally does cost a little bit more, not a lot, but the reason for that is because of the word custom.
Yeah.
Everything is different. The home has never been built before. You get to select every single selection. You make all the decisions on what it looks like. So it does cost a little bit more, but there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
It's also it is truly custom. It's unique.
Custom, and in the long run, it will be a better home than a production builder's home. Not saying that they're building bad homes. They're building to code, but there's a difference between a code-built home and an above-code home.
Right. It's the experience.
It is the experience.
Yeah. And the materials.
Yeah.
So
a lot of the materials are different.
There's actually some great resources at the National Association of Home Builders to
Yes.
help you find a local HBA or BIA, Building Industry Association, in your neighborhood. So you can go to nahb.org to find that. There's also some great consumer resources about building a home and the different kinds of building and remodeling that are out there. So I encourage you, if you're thinking about building or remodeling, check out NAHB for some information. And then how do folks in the St. Louis area or that might be coming to the St. Louis area, how do they find you, Kim?
Very simple. I mean, obviously the web is where you want to go. So it's just Hibbs Homes, and that's HIBBSHOMES.com. All of our contact information, cell phone numbers, and all for me and my team is on there.
Awesome.
Or just call Tony. Tony has me on speed dial.
Actually, I do have his number memorized.
That's impressive that you have a number memorized, because so many of us have forgotten those with speed dial.
There's two builders I have memorized, Kim Hibbs and then Scott Paul over at Vanderbilt.
There you go.
Why do I have them memorized? Because, one, they're more friends than the clients.
True.
Well, I can't thank you enough for joining us on the Green Gab podcast. I know we've been talking about it for a while, so it was great
it's
that
been
it
a pleasure.
finally worked out.
Can we do this again, and maybe Tony doesn't have to be around the next time?
I see how you are.
Nah, I can't be disloyal to Tony.
No, I'm kidding, Tony. I've enjoyed every minute of this. My career goal has now been met.
You know what?
What?
That's a low list then.
Oh, okay. And on that
Set my
note.
sights higher.
Okay. Say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Green Gab Podcast and for joining us on our own personal Green Odyssey as we change the world one Green Gab podcast at a time. What did you learn about during this episode? Tell us now by visiting our website at greengabpodcast.com. And remember to connect with us via iTunes, Facebook, and Twitter. The links to do all of this are at our website, greengabpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, but more importantly, thanks for rocking it in green.